What's going on, everybody? C4, welcome back to the channel, and today we're here for a new Madden 22 realistic rebuild, and as voted on by you guys in the Dolphins video comments, there was a couple top teams, a couple intriguing teams. Saw the Seahawks, saw the Titans, saw the Chiefs, but I saw the Saints more often than not, and I think coming out of a very good, I had to sim it because week 8, I wanted to start fresh, start live today. Very impressive victory over the Bucks, but certain things happened this week, today even, that make this rebuild even more interesting, so I'm on board. And I think above all, we need to start stacking Super Bowl victories in these rebuilds. I think we got one Super Bowl victory out of all the rebuilds we've done so far, which is not great. So knowing that Saints generally are a very powerful sim team, you know, I'm interested. I need to get some wins. And anytime you get a team that's really good in sim, but also really confusing roster, it makes for a good rebuild. So let's get into it, fellas. As we start this video, I would love to set a like goal. If we can get 1,000 likes on this video, I would very much appreciate that. Rock and roll, maybe get another second rebuild out later on in the weekend. Could do that, depending on the likes. So let's say, let's go 1,200. 1,200 likes, and I'll have another realistic rebuild coming out to you guys this weekend. Sound good? Let's get into this. Let's take a look at this roster. So, because you can't force injuries in Madden 22, Jameis Winston, who unfortunately tore his ACL, which is really bad timing for him because he's shown enough this year to be like, maybe there's something there with Jameis Winston, but not being able to finish this season, I think that just throws a wrench into the quarterback plans of the Saints this year. There's rumors with Phillip Rivers and all this stuff. Ultimately for us, we're going to go, I think we'll just go Taysom Hill. Does have the star dev trait, and if he can just be awkward enough to kind of, you know, close out this year and find a way to just rely on our run game, rely on our defense to sneak into the playoffs, I think that's going to be the best course of action, even though in real life, who knows what they're going to do. Feels like it's either going to be Taysom Hill or Trevor Siemian. We'll go Taysom Hill. Look at the running back room. We got Alvin Kamara, who I just need Alvin Kamara to play in sim like the Alvin Kamara we all know when you're not playing the Saints. You just look at his stats at the end of the year. He's MVP somewhat consistently, has, you know, 3,000 yards from scrimmage, 25 plus touchdowns. Yes, I need that Alvin Kamara to take over in the sim. He is going to be one of the foundations and then this rebuild, where we are going to, I don't want to say, because, you know, we do have Michael Thomas, who we'll get to in a second, and a really good defense and a really good offensive line. But I will say he's going to be the most important guy in this rebuild. It's Alvin Kamara. He needs to play like Alvin Kamara. And if he does play like Alvin Kamara, he's going to be unstoppable. He's going to be able to carry this team, and everything else is going to be icing on the cake. We got Mark Ingram. I made that trade to get him over for a 7th round pick, bring in some depth. Sure, I guess. But for the long-term prospects of this rebuild, it's a one-man backfield. Looking at the wide receiver room. So Michael Thomas today, as of me recording this, announced setback with his injury, will not be playing this season. So I will too follow suit and not play Michael Thomas for the remainder of year 1 of this rebuild. So that means we're going to have to rely on Tre'Quan Smith, who's kind of just a guy. We have Deontay Harris, who's more so known as a return man, but he is getting more involved as a receiver. And from a Madden standpoint, 74 star dev, only 23. There's a potentially high ceiling there for us to grow and develop him. So sure, I'm on board with making a return man into a beast. We have Marquez Callaway, who's the belle of the ball from preseason with Jameis Winston. Again, another young player, good jump ball, fits the scheme that we're looking for. Could be, you know, Marcus Colston 2.0 for this Saints offense potentially. Similar style of receiver. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to try and develop him, but ultimately looking at big picture, we need to get Michael Thomas back. Can we develop Deontay Harris and maybe draft a wide receiver? I'm not sure, because I think my biggest worry above all with this squad is not finishing out the year with Taysom Hill. It's not no Michael Thomas. I think their salary caps can be pretty bad, because a lot of guys here are constantly very popular faces in free agency at various years of rebuilds. And I assume that's because their salary cap is absolutely brutal. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Tight end room, we got Adam Troutman, who I did like coming out of college out of Dayton, 72 normal. He's one of the few players that I for sure really want to get a dev trade. I would love for Adam Troutman to establish himself as the franchise tight end for us. Has it kind of working against him, though. 72 normal. Could be tough. You have the converted wide receiver here, Juwan Johnson, but the rest of the tight end room, nothing special, so could very well go from a position in an area that I'm like, hey, maybe there's some upside here, to year 1, year 2, turns into we need a tight end badly. Offensive line, Taron Armstead, popular free agent, so I'm a little bit worried about that, but he's good. 30, 94, has that superstar depth, so he should not regress too bad. The plan will be to keep everyone on this offensive line together, maybe minus one player, which is Andrus Peat, who just got paid. I don't know when the out of that contract is, But for a team that may be struggling with salary cap, that's just too much money to be paying for a solid starting guard in the NFL. Eric McCoy is an outstanding center, 83 star. You throw in another, or really the right-hand side of this O-line is going to be guys I want to keep together for this rebuild. You have Ruiz, former first-round draft pick out of Michigan, 74 with the star dev. And then at right tackle, you have one of the best tackles in the NFL, and Ryan Ramczyk, 89, superstar dev, only 27. Luckily, a lot of those guys do have contracts, so they're still on the rookie contracts. This is paramount for me in this rebuild. If I'm setting a blueprint of how I want to approach this rebuild, it is keeping this offensive line together is one of the top 3 things I want to try to do. Flipping to the defense, I got a little creative here a little bit, and you'll see in just a second. So we have Cam Jordan, defensive end, another guy that, much like Terran Armstead, is a popular free agent. Again, makes me a little worried about the salary cap, but he's 91 X factor. I know for a fact that you can run him into the ground. He should hopefully retire a Saint and be playing at a high level. Could be here for the full 5 years of the rebuild. That is my plan, because he's still a beast. We have Davenport on the other side. He's finally starting to develop here. I mean, he traded 2 first-round picks for this guy. Hasn't really lived up to that expectation, and that was just awful. An awful decision by the Saints in retrospect. But we're here, 79 star dev. Still has a lot of upside. Can absolutely kind of redeem himself. D-tackle, you have Onyemata, 82 star dev, only 28, so that's actually a little bit of an awkward age for his rating, but he's solid. But you look at the depth behind that, I think D-tackle could become a problem for our squad in terms of, we just need depth, replacements, whatever you want to call it. D-tackle should be a spot that if there's a great free agent that's affordable, or if there is a certain draft prospect that looks like can't miss, maybe we do invest on the defensive line. So what I did is I took Peyton Turner, who is buried on the depth chart behind Cam Jordan. I moved him outside linebacker, just to see, acting as a rush linebacker role. Kind of a surprising pick, let's be honest. Getting, for those that know the Saints, and for also those that may have just been a dire fan, I'm getting Marcus Smith vibes from when the Eagles drafted him. But, hey, good pass rusher, explosive pass rusher. I'm going to give an opportunity starting at linebacker, just kind of as like a rush linebacker. Then we have Demario Davis, one of the most underrated linebackers in the NFL. I still can't believe when he got released by the Jets, no one, it didn't feel like so many people rushed. It's kind of like he just eventually went to the Saints. I was like, this guy's a stud, and he's been one ever since. I kicked Quan Alexander from outside linebacker into inside just because one of these two guys needs to be getting these reps. Linebackers can get a generous roll of the dice in the RNG to get dev trade upgrades at the end of the year. So I would much rather, instead of Quan Alexander, 27 going on 28, getting a star dev, if that could be a Peyton Turner that gets off normal dev. If that could be a Pete Warner or a Zach Bond that gets off a normal dev, that's going to be more important for the squad going forward. So that is what we are doing. Corner, we have Marshawn Lattimore, who I was actually surprised when I loaded this up. It's not seeing a superstar dev there. 88 star, still absolute baller. Lockdown corner. You got the veteran in Roby. You got a Debo, I thought was great value, landing him in Stanford. He's going to get a lot of snaps, a lot of opportunities as a rookie to also potentially go up a dev trade, just get a lot of XP early on. Not super worried about the cornerback room, but it could use improvement for sure. You look at free safety, we have Marcus Williams in line with Cam Jordan, in line with Terran Armstead, always in free agency. You don't want to let this guy lead the building. 84, he's only 24, has that dev trait. It is going to be a priority for me to figure out how to re-sign, or at least keep Marcus Williams for another year in the Saints building. Strong safety of Malcolm Jenkins, great veteran, still very, obviously one of the legends for my Philadelphia Eagles. Going back to the team that drafted him. And then we have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, but for this, he's currently on our depth chart, our slot corner. So even though he is strong safety too, he'll be on the field a whole lot, and we can maximize his age and his depth chart. I mean, I'm a huge fan. I know he's a little bit of a polarizing player, a little bit of a shit disturber, but he was amazing for my Florida Gators. He was a guy that I thought was going to be the best safety in that class. And maybe he's in that discussion right now. It was an insane value pick for the Saints, and I'm happy to see him doing well. Special teams, well, I mean, when he's healthy, Will Lutz is a really reliable kicker, great for Madden. And then we have Gillikin at punter, who I actually think also, I thought he used to have a dev trait. Either way, young punter, don't have to worry about that spot. And there's no more bad Saints traits. We have all of our premier picks for the next couple drafts, which is going to be paramount to rebuilding this squad. So no Michael Thomas, no Jameis Winston. We're going to be going Taysom Hill for the remainder of the 2021 season. Let's see what let's see what happens. I have no idea. I need Alvin Kamara to carry the load of this offense, get 30,000 yards, and have this. We're 5-2. It's a good starting point. I think we could sneak into the playoffs. So when we talk about the draft, using real prospects, what in this draft truly appeals to the New Orleans Saints? Quarterback, right? Quarterback's gonna be intriguing because they do need a quarterback, and I think if you're properly evaluating this year's quarterback class, I don't think this exists, a top 5 quarterback. Like, truly in terms of talent. There may be a team desperate enough to draft a quarterback top 5, but I think, like, you know, Corral, Malik Willis, Sam Howell, Carson Strong. I mean, we got Rattler still there, Pickett. Probably could go down to Desmond Ritter at this point. That could sneak in that first one, but I don't think anyone would feel comfortable drafting these guys top 10. You know, maybe it's like you start looking top 15 beyond. That's exactly the range that we're going to be picking for the New Orleans Saints. So be it this year, next year, 3 years, I do think quarterback is important. Wide receiver could be another area. That would be pretty awesome to pair someone else there with Michael Thomas and Harris. Tight end, sure, there's value. One of these top tight end slips. I really do think even really down to even Trey McBride. There's about 10 tight ends that could be very intriguing pieces to bring in. I think the O-line we're fine for the most part. Could use a guard, but, you know, Andrews Pete's solid for the time being. There's no real getting out of that contract. Defensive ends, I think we're fine for the time being. D-tackle, sure. You know, a Jordan Davis, Haskell, Garrett, BPA type scenario. Absolutely could jump in all over that. Linebacker one's a little bit interesting because we do have young players that we want to hope develop versus just drafting in, having, you know, more, you know, of a logjam for this linebacking core. But I think, you know, you look at Harris. Linebacker's tough for the draft class in general. You have Harris, Papona, Kobe Dean, and more so Devin Lloyd at this point. That could go first round. They're fringe first round talents. You know, you go into the secondary, find another corner with a Debo and Lattimore, a Stingley Booth, Sauce Gardner, Kyer Elam, McDuffie, Wright, Hodges Tomlinson, Jermaine Waller. Really, again, almost 10 guys that could very well be on board here. Do we have to replace Marcus Williams? There's just no way financially we can afford to keep him, because if that happens, we're going to need a safety. And again, we could get flexible with safety. We're going to keep Malcolm Jenkins and we give Chauncey Gardner-Johnson a free safety. But I think the point I'm trying to make here is while there are certain positions we might want to favor, generally we are taking this draft as is, and it's going to be probably a best player scenario type draft. But the big question there, I think, especially that free safety spot with Marcus Williams, can we pay these guys? Can we sign our in-house talent? Let's take a little look here. I am fully prepared. It's a meme at this point how bad the Saints salary cap is. Are we going to be able to re-sign some of these guys? Because really looking at this one, I think Deontay Harris, we want to re-sign him. That's a cheap contract. We got $12 million. So, I mean, we can actually offer a contract here to Marcus Williams. Ooh. Can we get Terran Armstead? Well, 3-year 34. He's looking 3-year 61. That's going to be a tight one. I think we can get Deontay Harris, develop him. We'll give him a 5-year deal. It's actually, it's not as bad as I thought, given the fact that, you know, I wanted everyone on the line, and we're able to kick 2 of the 3 players that, when I was just previewing the roster, I said I wanted to keep around. And there's, I mean, we can offer whatever we can. A max offer here to Terran Armstead. How bad do you want to stay? It's not that bad. So that now means, you know, big priority. We got the safety, so maybe we shift our priorities to tackle. If an Evan Neal kind of slips in the draft, or, you know, Jackson Kirk. There's going to be guys. There's going to be players available on that offensive line. But, hey, I'm happy we're able to get Marcus Williams locked in, and hopefully Deontay Harris continues to develop and can really maybe merge into a wide receiver 2, legitimate wide receiver 2 behind Michael Thomas for the remainder of this rebuild. So at the end of the season, hey, Taysom Hill got it done. I did have a botch. We were 12-5, second place in the NFC South. I did botch it. I said, you know, we are going to rock and roll Jameis with the injury, Michael Thomas not returning, and I was just so ready to get into year 1, I forgot, well, Michael Thomas was way down there on the depth chart. I could have just went into the actual depth chart, because then I would have known that he was still playing in the slot. I'll say right now, I don't think it had a whole lot of influence. It wasn't like he was godly. We'll look at the stats, but I'm just going to be full transparency here. We did have a little bit of Michael Thomas help near the end of the year, even though he's not still playing Michael Thomas level of reps. Look at the stats. Looking at around for the league, nothing too crazy. I mean, 2,000 yards for Derrick Henry. Unfortunately, that's, you know, not going to happen this year. 22 sacks for Khalil Mack. Diggs with 9 picks. But looking at our team, they kind of dispel the myth, the idea that the Saints playbook doesn't matter who your quarterback is. I mean, those aren't great numbers for Taysom Hill. 2,800 yards, 19 touchdowns, 9 picks. They're not bad. Running the ball, Alvin Kamara, almost 1,500 yards, 19 touchdowns. Kind of disgusting, to be honest with you. You throw in the fact that he also got, 500 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. So that's almost 2,000 yards from scrimmage, 24 total touchdowns, and, he's only going to be better. So as you see, Michael Thomas, he was playing, but he only averaged 35 yards a game. I feel like, that's still punishment. It's not the perfect realism and disadvantages I want for the Saints, but, for a mulligan, it's not an impactful mulligan. We still had to rely on Troutman, 600 yards, 5 touchdowns. We had 7 and 7 there for Harris. Got himself a new contract. 11 and 7 for Cowboys. Great. That's a great breakout year for him. I don't know if that's going to be good enough to play him into a dev trade. It might be. Get him off that normal into a star. That'd be huge for this team going forward. That's a guy that we weren't expecting to count on, that we can now count on to be a valuable player for the remainder of the rebuild. Defensively, 129 tackles for Demario Davis. We have 11 sacks Cam Jordan, 9 from Davenport. Not much from Passion, not much on the other side. Unfortunately, 4 picks, Lattimore, 3 from Jenkins, 2 for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Active secondary, 2 picks, Adebo, great for the rookie, happy for him. Looking at the yearly awards, MVP went to Lamar Jackson. We actually get to take on Kyler Murray here in just a second. Alvin Kamara coming in at number 7 for the rest of the NFC. More so for our squad. Offensive rookie, they went to Justin Fields. Defensive rookie, they went to Micah Parsons with Adebo at 4. Pete Warner at 5. Pretty good, I guess, given the guys that get drafted. Alvin Kamara was the running back of the year. Kudos to him, but I mean, there's no real dev traits or anything that can be gained. But I'm happy with the squad. I feel like, just to be fair, because we are simming and we actually are making a change. I forgot to make this change in the last video. We're going to stop simming them, like playing the moments, because I think that kind of messes up the sim just a little bit. You might get a more favorable sim. Doing it this way, we're going to make Michael Thomas out of the slot. If we're going to go on a playoff run, we're going to defy all odds. We are going to do so without Michael Thomas. So we have this first game against Arizona. Come on, 12-5, 12-5. It's going to be tough. I think we could win it. We did not win it. 27-21. We fall. But I think this is how I'm going to do this for the rebuilds. I've had people say, too, it's different when you do the Super Sim. So we're going to keep it like this. And for this matchup, I mean, it's always going to be tough. This was in real life. Kyler Murray, MVP, shortlist, going up against Taysom Hill. It's going to be a big disadvantage for the Saints to compete. And we only lost by a score, which is pretty good. 91 yards, a touchdown there for Alvin Kamara. On the receiving front, over 100 yards for Hopkins, 58 there, 44 and a touchdown for Adam Troutman. Didn't get Kamara involved too much in the passing game. Huge game for Demario Davis and made plays all over the field, had an interception. You can just see the pressure, man. 4.5 sacks on that defensive line. We did get the pick. Ryan Poole also got an interception. Not the way you want to see it, but I think this squad fighting to find a way to make the playoffs after losing Jameis Winston and Michael Thomas for the remainder of the year, or at least Michael Thomas starting for us, being wide receiver 1 for the remainder of the year. I'm optimistic that when we have a full healthy squad, we're going to be able to compete. And we actually lost to the eventual Super Bowl champions as the Arizona Cardinals defeat Carson Wentz and the Colts 24-16. Kyler Murray is the Super Bowl MVP. And as always, we're cleaning up the lockers. Always want to get a little peek there. See if anyone went up depth trade. I'm hoping maybe Callaway on offense get into a star would be dope. Which, he did not. 1,000 yards. Thought that might have been good enough. It was not. So no dev traits gained on the offensive side of the ball, which is a little bit lame. On the defensive side of the ball, let's see what we got here. Marshawn Lattimore up to superstar. That's pretty cool. That's dope. At least we got one. Sometimes you get none. So we have $1 million worth of salary. We had to let Terran Armstead go. I am gonna take a peek here. Is there any fat that we can trim? We're gonna start some P90X here and thin the herd for this roster. Thinking off the top of my head, I don't think there's a lot of contracts that we can really thin. We got our 3 wide receivers that I kind of wanted there. You look on the off, Vinette at tight end, that's almost $2 million or over $2 million. That's valuable for our squad. I mean, I probably will go through here. We don't need a long snapper, and I'll cut some of the depth, but I don't think we're going to be active players in free agency. But we desperately need a tackle now. Come on, man, something juicy. There's got to be someone in here that was just like, okay, we can get rid of Passignon. Don't really need that expensive a depth. Free up almost $3 million. Oof. Not exactly what you want to be seeing here. Bradley Roby, 10 million. I mean, almost like that point, he's a good corner, but I'm going to replace it. That's a tough one. I'm going to see the open market. Knowing that we got $10 million right there to potentially just invest elsewhere, we'll consider that for Bradley Roby. Malcolm Jenkins at this point, I mean, there's not a whole lot of money being made there. This guy for sure, JT Gray, I assume he's probably just a special teamer, valuable special teamer. Don't need that on the books. Okay, we freed up a little bit, a little bit of spending cash. Let's see what we can do on the open market, knowing that also, if we need to, we can free up another $10 million by moving on from Bradley Roby. Free agency, there wasn't really a player that I was like, I need that $10 million to move on from Roby, but I do want to think beyond Roby. I got Avonte Maddox here, scheme fit, 26, 79, high ceiling, get him for the remainder of the rebuild type deal, set for get in the slot. Because you can have Lattimore, maybe a Debo develops on the outside. So I thought that's solid value there. And then I'm going to be looking at Deshaun Hand. More so I'm going to shift him into D-tackle 2 behind Onyemata. Literally just paid him whatever I could afford. 26, almost 300 pounds. So he definitely could make the transition to a 4-3 defensive tackle. So it's a little bit light. But, as the years go on and we're going to be losing, Armstead looks like to the Texans. He's taking a payday. Hopefully our salary cap kind of lightens up over the next couple years. And nice, able to get Avonte Maddox, able to get Deshaun Hand. Now Maddox, because we had Chauncey Gardner-Johnson playing as slot corner, obviously Maddox is going to be able to take that role, so we just get a little bit more options. Maybe if we want to, have a sub linebacker for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, figure out a role for Malcolm Jenkins. Just gives us a little bit of more flexibility going forward. And yeah, we landed Deshaun Hand, move him into defensive tackle. All right, so we're in the draft, pick 24, and our needs for our squad, fairly obvious at this point. We need a quarterback. We need a left tackle, for sure. That's quarterback, left tackle. Could use a tight end if one falls to us. Could use depth at wide receiver. Defensively, Deshaun Hand transitioning very well to D-tackle in our scheme. Is about a 76 up to a 79, so that looks good. But you can always, outside linebacker help, find someone else that can for sure contribute. With Demario Davis, it's not great selections over the last couple of years here for the Saints. So let's take a look here at the board. I mean, we could just commit to a tank and look at quarterbacks next year as well. But let's see the board. What do we have? At quarterback. Wow. Kenny Pickett and Spencer Rattler. Desmond Ritter's there. I thought for sure we might have a chance at Carson Strong. Okay, quarterback's not looking great. I will say right now, Kenny Pickett would be the quarterback I would consider. He's currently top dog. Looking at the wide receivers that are available, Jameson Williams, Treylon Burks, George Pickens. Wide receivers looking a little bit better if you're trying to invest this pick 24. Tight end, Billingsley is there. We've used him in rebuilds before. Weidermeyer, I don't know how. Jesus. I don't know what happened there. Left tackle, we have Jackson Kirkland. Fine. Linderbaum at center. Right tackle, Petit Frere. He is a legitimate first rounder. That could be in contention there. Slide him over to left tackle. Very talented lineman there from Ohio State. Defensively, linebacker more so. We have Brandon Smith. Okay. Papo, Nakobe Dean is still there. I'm wondering if those guys are going to be in the second round. Benito, more of a, these guys here are pass rushers. Exactly what we're looking. Christopher Allen, maybe more so. In the secondary, we shouldn't have got a corner. Because there was our pick. If I didn't get Avonte Maddox, I still almost think we have to go Sauce Gardner here. Give up on a Debo and go with the higher. I mean, and then it immediately frees up $10 million for next year to re-sign players. I gotta do it, man. We scouted him. Let's do it. Sauce Gardner. Got best player available on our board. I said at the very beginning, even though Kenny Pickett's there for quarterback, if he's still there in the second round, because that is also a range that he could go. I think that's his floor, would be second round at this point. He's killing it for Pitt. Kenny Two Gloves. But we said at the very beginning, when we looked at these prospects, we might be in a BPA situation. And even with Avonte Maddox, I think Sauce Gardner, higher ceiling than Debo, got the dev trade, could be a long-term partner with Marshawn Lattimore going forward in the rebuild. Really unfortunate how the QBs kind of fell out there. Same with the tackles. Pick 24. Tackles are looking a little light, unfortunately. The linebacking core, I mean, there actually are some solid linebackers here. Teoto, Devin Lloyd, Overshown. Absolutely wouldn't have any issue drafting these guys. But kind of the jump off for quarterbacks. We still have a guy that might be something. I think we got to pull the trigger. Even if it's only a... It's going to stink if it's a Band-Aid, because then we're going to have a second-round QB on the roster, and we're going to grab another one next year. But if we don't get Ritter here, what are the odds he's going to be available in the 3rd round? He might still be there. But it's like, if I don't go Ritter, where do I go? Where do I draft? You know, do we grab one of those linebackers right now? Or... We have so much youth at linebacker. I mean, there's no right decision here, because I think... for me right now, the selection would be going and grabbing a linebacker to come in and compete with the young linebackers we already have. And we'd have to be more so gambling that these guys just have a dev trait, because if not, they're probably going to be roughly the same ratings as a Peyton Turner or a Pete Werner or a Zach Bond. I don't know. It's been so long since I've dealt with these draft classes and I don't even want to cheese. Get in the area of cheese and dev traits. So I think right now, the fact that Desmond Ritter's still there, even if he's not our quarterback of the future, it's a Jalen Hurts situation. At least we have him for 1 year. So there we go. 2nd round, Desmond Ritter, quarterback out of Cincinnati, who better make the freaking playoff. Better not get screwed out by those, I don't know what you want to call them, but okay. I mean, at this point, 4th round, Williams is still there. 1st, 2nd rounder. Kind of surprised, to be honest with you. Still lots of talent at wide receiver. But let's look at the other positions of need for our squad. Offensive line, offensive tackle. Maybe McFadden. He's really undersized for a tackle, but talented. Play a lot of football at Clemson. I think you look at the linebacking core, the linebackers that are still there. Some value. I mean, Mike Rose, Ellis Brooks. Ellis Brooks having a hell of a year for Penn State. I was thinking at this point, we just go BPA. And in the 4th round, Jameis Winston, the burner for Alabama, still being available. Very surprising. Probably faster than that 4.4. Maybe he had an injury or something like that. We'll grab him. 93 speed, 93 acceleration. Let's go. That's a good fit. Okay, let's see what we did for the draft. Let's get the ratings underway. So in the 1st round, we selected Ahmad Sauce Gardner, 75 hit dev. That is huge. Day 1 starter. I think our secondary almost set and forget at this point. You know, we're going to have Marshawn Lattimore, Sauce Gardner, Avonte Maddox at corner. We're going to have Marcus Williams to get a new contract, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson at strong safety. That's good. There's a whole unit that we don't have to worry about for the remainder of this rebuild. Then we got Desmond Ritter in the 2nd round, 68 normal dev, 90 throw power, accuracy. You know, needs some work. Good athlete, though. Can scramble with the best of them. And I think that, and I know I'm not the only one, you've probably seen in your franchise, especially if you rebuild, play a lot of different seasons, stuff like that. Ian Book occasionally will be the quarterback for the Saints, and he dominates. So if we're ever going to do a rebuild where you grab a quarterback that's not going to have a dev trait, that's not going to have an amazing rating, and we want to see if they can grow and develop into something and surprise us, it's when you're rebuilding the Saints, and someone like Desmond Ritter is a perfect candidate. If this can turn into a Desmond Ritter rebuild, hell yeah, let's go for it. I'm a fan. I had money on Cincinnati making the playoff. I like what they're doing. I think Luke Fickell's an outstanding head coach. I think Ritter's a solid quarterback prospect. And hey, if we can make something here, why not? Jameson Williams in the 4th round is bargain, absolute bargain. He was projected to go 1st, 2nd round, somewhere in that range. Burner adds that much more depth to the wide receiver spot. We got Jalen Duncan, who actually might have to play at tackle this year, just with the Saints salary cap and the free agency and how everything kind of lined up. Couldn't fill all the holes, so that is definitely something to keep an eye on. We got Ventrell Miller and the Canadian Daniel Joseph to kind of round out the draft here, but only 1 hidden dev. Usually be at my draft classes of the Madden generated. We usually hit 2, if not 3 hidden dev players, only getting 1. A little spicy, but we're ready, man. Desmond Ritter is our quarterback next season. Let's have some fun with it. So we start year 2. Now we have some influence over our scouting staff to try to build our roster. So I'm getting all fairly important positions for us. Tier 1. Ooh, I don't want to actually fire you. Tier 1, we got middle linebacker, which is, you know, again, just we need help linebackers. There's no expertise for right or left outside linebacker. So I was just going to let's at least get information for linebackers. And then we also got wide receiver. Can never use enough of those. Tier 2 is quarterback. Just, you know, a little bit of a contingency plan in case Ritter does not pan out. And then why not? Tier 3, we have a tight end expert. You know, maybe if Troutman doesn't work out, have a lot of information on the upcoming insanely stacked tight end class in 2023. It's absurd. There's like 5 guys that could go in the 1st round in 2023. So here's our squad. I'm thinking, man, with Pete, he was drafted as a tackle, didn't work out. He played better at guard, got paid as a guard. I'm trying to think, like, maybe we move Pete to left tackle and then Duncan into guard or something like that. We could just see how Duncan plays at tackle. I'm not sure, though. I wish I knew from a sim, like, oh, C4, you know, you just got to have your high-rated tackle. I don't know if it's going to be that much of a difference if we shift these guys around. So, yeah, we got Michael Thomas back, which is huge for the offense. Desmond Ritter, quarterback under center. Jameson Williams there, wide receiver 4. Defensively, we're shaping up a little bit different. Davenport, Onyemata, Cam Jordan. Now Deshaun Hand will be playing on the line there. We're going to up this. Sauce Gardner to the outside. We're going to have Avonte Maddox in the slot. Roby still solid, but again, it's $10 million that we could free up by letting his contract expire, which is going to be good for the team. Williams is extended. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson will now start. Jenkins just solid depth. And there you go. I mean, at this point, I might move Malcolm Jenkins in linebacker. He played linebacker for the Eagles. Let's see here. But then it's also going to be taking reps away. Like, maybe this is going to be the opportunity for a Werner or a Zach Bond or a Peyton Turner or something like that to go up a dev trait. No, we'll keep it as is here. Specialists, what do we got? Maddox in the slot, Cam. Yep. Everything looks good. We'll keep Callaway. Should he be in the slot? Why not? You know, Harris has his dev trait. You know, I think that would be the most important part right now in our wide receiver room is if we can get Callaway up to a star dev trait. So we'll keep an eye on the left tackle spot. Keep an eye on those linebackers. Make sure we have the best linebacking combination on the field. Not a lot of coverage. I think ideally, I think I'm going to go make Werner. Swap him for Bond. And then we're ready to go, man. Year 2, first year. Can Desmond Ritter make an impression? So looking at the 2023 draft class. So quarterbacks, we all know right now. Have we used any of these QBs yet? CJ Stroud. But yeah, Anthony Richardson, DJU, Bryce Young. Sure, sign me up for any of those 3. If we're in range to select one of those 3, it means Desmond Ritter is not the guy. I think, again, you look at tight end. Ridiculous class. Darnell Washington, insane. 6'7", 265. Michael Mayer, baby Gronk, insane. Eric Gilbert, a little bit of the off the field, but from a talent standpoint, you know, first rounder. Dulcich from UCLA is a beast. You got Laporta, who's kind of, people are, I mean, still hype would be getting ridiculous, but looks like he's going to be another one of those Iowa tight ends. That's absolutely insane, following the likes of George Kittle and Noah Fant. So, I mean, that's a good spot. I mean, you look on the offensive line, absolutely. Between Paris Johnson, could be a fit at tackle for us. You look more so on the other side. Skaronski, McClendon. You know, it's not a super strong tackle class, but there will be players involved that we could potentially select in that first round at that left tackle. Rest of the squad, I mean, again, linebacker continues to come in question. So, more so for our scheme, Sewell, Campbell, Wilgar, Nolan Smith, Drew Sanders, Funa. There's going to be options. I actually think this is going to be a good year potentially to burn a first rounder on a linebacker, which we may have to consider. But ultimately for this draft class, the most important thing is hopefully Ritter's good, and we don't have to worry about the quarterbacks, and we can focus our needs elsewhere. All right, this could be cool. Let's bring it live here. Pete Werner, chance to go up a dev trait, which would be pretty important given the fact that we just have way too many starters on this team, either side of the ball, that are just normal dev. Would love to get some more star dev, and then we'll start from here. So Warner in a victory over the Chargers. Fortunately, did not go up a dev. That was our first one too. I feel like that's been nerfed in Madden franchise. Not seeing a whole lot of dev traits. But we go to the bye, still somehow first place in the NFC. Which is outstanding. Desmond Ritter, I'll take it. I'm a little scared. Little scared to look at the stats. Because I have a feeling it's probably not down to our quarterback here. We'll spend these points. But why not? Let's see. Before we look at contracts, 40-35, outstanding. What is Desmond Ritter doing? Is he getting the same rub that any quarterback gets when you're playing the Saints playbook? And it's, no, not so much. Oh. Alvin Kamara is carrying this off. I mean, 13-13. We got Bucks Jameis Winston out here right now. That's not good. That's not good because our record's not good enough to get a good quarterback. We might have to trade for a QB. We have $6 million negative in terms of salary cap. And for sure, Davenport, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and Eric McCoy are players we do not want to let leave. Oh, what? So that was a lie. You cannot trust that salary cap. Okay, well, let's get Eric McCoy. I want him 4 years. Want him for the remainder of the rebuild. We have Onyemata. It could be replaced, but we'll come back to that. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, absolutely 5-year deal. Can be the future leader of this defense. We got Davenport developing nicely, and that's not absurd money for an edge rusher, even though I want to see the production. He was close to double-digit sacks last year, so we got him locked up. I feel like Callaway's a tough one. I think that's solid depth, but is he ever going to be that guy? But I feel like give him 5-year, $2 million cap, it's not too much for a guy that's getting playing snaps and could go up a dev trade. Had 1,000 yards for us last year. Why not? Roby's replaceable. Onyemata, that's a tough one. He's only looking for a 1-year deal, but that's really going to hinder our cap space to maybe get a guy that maybe not 83, but he's going to regress. I think actually we'll hit the open market and see if we can improve the defensive line that way. Okay. Got all of our targets again we wanted to re-sign, almost like last year minus Terran Armstead. Not as bad as I thought coming into this. So to close out year 2, an absolutely absurd run. I'm going to show you guys the results down the stretch. This team's playing, it reminds me of the Eagles to a certain degree with Jalen Hurts, where it's like, quarterback, probably not going to elevate the squad, but maybe it's not going to hurt the squad. Maybe it's not going to be detrimental. Is that good enough to like, well, it better be, because at 10-7, making the playoffs, we are not going to have a chance at a legit quarterback this year. Looking around the league, Malik Willis, the rookie, just throwing it all over the field. I'm not really seeing any other crazy numbers. Vita Vea, I guess a nose tackle getting 19 sacks is pretty absurd. Let's look at our squad here. Demario Davis was second in the NFL in tackles, which is cool. So Desmond Ritter finished the year 4,300 yards, 27 touchdowns, 15 picks to go along with not a whole lot rushing either. I mean, again, I think an element does come into you want that quarterback. Those aren't bad numbers, but ultimately with the Saints, especially for here in Madden 22, in this franchise, in this rebuild, it's going to be the Alvin Kamara show. It's always going to be his offense, so does it really matter? Especially giving up a lot of assets. Whatever we'd have to do to maybe replace Ritter with a great quarterback, is it going to really matter? Because it's still going to run through Alvin Kamara, because he's insane. 1,600 yards, 17 touchdowns. Also, I mean, we're not getting the great receiving numbers. We could put him in the slot, I guess. But, yeah, he's a baller, man. Almost 800 yards, 4 touchdowns for Troutman. 9-8 for Callaway. Glad we gave him the contract extension. 900 yards for Harris. Solid. 11-7 for Michael Thomas. Back doing things here for wide receiver 1. Defensively, Demario Davis. Tackle machine. We got 9.5 sacks Cam Jordan. 7.5 Davenport. 7.5 Onyemata. 6 for Deshaun Hand. That's great numbers for a D tackle. Interceptions, 3 for Marshawn Lattimore. I will take it. A pick there for Avante Maddox. I'd like to see maybe Sauce Gardner get a little bit more involved. Yearly awards, MVP went to Ezekiel Elliott. Alvin Kamara coming in at number 6. NFC Offensive Player went to Zeke. Khalil Mack, defensive player. Malik Willis on the Falcons, taking over from Matt Ryan, is the Rookie of the Year. Redder coming in at number 2. Not brutal. Not as bad as it could have been. Defensive Rookie of the Year went to Devin Lloyd, who was in consideration for us in that second round at linebacker. Fortunately, didn't work out. Trey Lance is quarterback for the rest of these individual awards. No Saints, but we made the playoffs. Could go on a run here. As you know, first year, let's stick with the straight-up regular sim. Maybe we'll get a little bit more generous sim results. Find out who the best team is in the South. Hey, we got a win! First win of the Desmond Ritter era, I guess, if we commit to it. 32-28 over the Bucks. Is Brady still there? Did we just beat Tom Brady? We just did! And it was efficient football. Brady did his job, but 300 yards, a touchdown, no turnovers for Desmond Ritter. 3 touchdowns. Again, literally what I just said kind of played itself out here. 65 yards, 3 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara, that's our offense. That's how we rock and roll with our offense. It's going to go and run through him, and it's just everyone else, if they could chip in, make plays along the way, that's going to help. We got some pressure up the quarter. Davenport, Demario Davis. The interception goes to the rookie, Sauce Gardner. That is a great result here for the New Orleans Saints, but a very tough task. You're going against Trey Lance, who's being very good, and the 49ers. And we go crashing and burning. 38-22. I just don't know if there's any stopping Trey Lance. I'm going to guess Trey Lance probably had 3, 4, 5 touchdowns in this one, and he did. 3 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, you could argue for the fact that we just drafted Sauce Gardner. We said, hey, we could set and forget our secondary. That they gave up 7 passing touchdowns in the playoffs is not great. Touchdown and a pick here for Desmond Ritter. Alvin Kamara didn't crush it. Maybe that's a reason for us. Debo killed it. He's so good, man. I'm so glad I drafted Debo in fantasy this year. Troutman had a big game defensively. 10 tackles. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and a sack. Onyemata got a sack. But ultimately, you know, hey, I wasn't even expecting playoffs this year. And the fact that we got a first win for Desmond Ritter, you know, we can build off that because we're not going to be able to draft a good quarterback with where we're picking, so we can focus maybe at tackle, maybe at D tackle, maybe at linebacker. Let's see how the draft and free agency plays out. So to close out year 2, the Dallas Cowboys beat the Buffalo Bills 41, beat the brakes off the Bills, 41-13 in the Super Bowl. Zeke Elliott get himself an MVP because the Cowboys are... No, hey, I think Madden's awesome. I guarantee the people that love Madden 22 this year are just Cowboy fans because they win all the time. As we go to the locker, any dev trades? Let's see what we got here. Nothing on offense, unfortunately. Again, Duncan developed nicely at left tackle. Maybe we don't have to screen for a tackle. We have big boosts on offense that help out, but 74, second-year player, you can work around that. I mean, Callaway's up to an 80 with the boost. Ritter, 73. Okay. Defensively, still... Ah, man, and of course, Onyemata, who we're letting hit the open market here, went up. Is the only guy that went up dev trade. Not our linebackers. Sauce Gardner, star dev, which stings a little bit. Okay. Lame. I think Onyemata only needing a 1-year deal, going up to a superstar. I almost feel like, why not? Why not just offer him a little bit of an extension here? So we'll go 4.5. 1 year, 8.95 mil. Got him locked up. Nice. So we go to free agency with not a lot of money. Had about $16 million worth of salary cap. I would love to bring in someone like Quentin Nelson. It just wasn't feasible. There are quarterbacks available, which, you know, again, Ritter got us to playoffs versus going like someone like Baker Mayfield at this point, or Minshew, or anything crazy like that. The one player that I really wish I could have afforded, but I can't, is Tremaine Edmonds. The Patriots bid is ridiculous. Like, I don't have a lot of money. I was able to offer like a $61 million. See, that fair offer is 57. I got 61, and I was still 4th place on that. So the teams are going crazy for linebackers. So I'm going to try to get the consolation price here, which is Cole Holcomb. Not, you know, 27.79. It's not ideal, but he does have a superstar dev. It would at least make us better at one of the linebacker spots. Another big offer in there from the Vikings. Maybe give him a slight bump up here. Maybe that helps us with a couple points. Gives us, it doesn't really do much. So hopefully we can land our one and only target, Cole Holcomb, and improve the defense. Nice. And we did get Cole Holcomb, and I guess you could say getting the superstar Onyemata back on the last day to negotiate with our own free agents. Those are 2 big signings for the Saints defense here. Now let's go crush the draft. Always curious. There's always when you get the mock draft 5, like all the information's out there. These are the experts. What are they saying? What are they saying? I'll tell you right now. I've been doing a lot of scouting on Michael Mayer, baby Gronk. Don't think he's going to be there for us. So going down to the 2nd tier, I've been doing a lot of scouting here on Skoronski at the offensive tackle. We kick him to left tackle. 100% completed. And I don't think he's going to fall to us, unfortunately. So now we're going way, way, way down. And it's... Yeah, that's what we need. Need a running back. I'll tell you right now. Paris Johnson, Sewell, Gilbert, Funa, all would consider them 1,000,000,000% for another running back. Okay, because Desmond Ritter was not bad enough, we were picking at 26 in the 1st round. Let's see what the board looks like. Tackle. Linebacker. D tackle. Okay, so quarterbacks, I'll just say right now, we could get CJ Stroud, Tanner McKee, Grayson McCall. I think we stick with Desmond Ritter. Bigsby is not bad value there. He's an amazing running back. Him and Bijan Robinson from Texas, they're going to be scary at the next level. Eric Gilbert at tight end. I'll tell you right now, that's the leader for where I'm going to be spending my pick. I don't think Skoronski's still left here at tackle, which, yep, all right. So right now, Eric Gilbert is leading where I want to go with this selection. D tackle, there's nothing there, fortunately. Sewell at linebacker, we have used him in previous rebuilds. Funa at linebacker, very intriguing as well. That's the call. Do we go Eric Gilbert at tight end, or do I grab ourselves a linebacker and essentially move on from Pete Werner? I'm trying to think who would have the dev trade here? Funa, I think they might both have a dev trade. So at this point, I mean, I think the tiebreaker should almost be, we went defense last time, right? We went defense last time. I mean, what do you call it's doing good? Troutman. But, I mean, that's a contract coming up soon. I think we got to go Eric Gilbert, man. Wide receiver, tight end hybrid. A little bit of off the field stuff. Got the dev trait. 6'5", 89 I mean, he's, to a certain degree, you want to comp Eric Gilbert. Kind of like a Kyle Pitts. Not as good of an athlete as Pitts, but similar style. Got to get his mind right, though. Having some issues because he went from LSU and he transferred to Florida. Now he's at Georgia playing what? Like, I don't know what's going on with him, but he's an immensely talented football player, 5-star all-world recruit, and maybe that's just kind of what we need to help out Desmond Ritter. I think that's the more important spot right now, is that the tiebreaker between Gilbert or going Funa at linebacker is Gilbert helps out Desmond Ritter, Funa does not. I mean, trusting the scouting, this guy, Walker Parks from Clemson, high up the draft board, sure. Kind of BPA, add some more competition with Jalen Duncan for left tackle. Oh, just throwing out. We're like well into the draft. Got a hidden dev, Zeke Correll from Notre Dame. I think this is our 4th or 5th round selection. That's a win. Sneaky dev trade. So draft recap. Let's see how well we did. We know in the first round, looks pretty good. Eric Gilbert, hidden dev, 75 hidden dev for Mr. Gilbert. 6'5", 250, 86 speed, 87 acceleration. Or 89 acceleration, 87 catching. Looks like an absolute monster, and definitely an upgrade right now on Troutman. We got 2 tight ends, sure. You know, we got Parks. I knew I should have made that pick, but the game was telling me to make the pick in the spirit of the scouting mechanism. We made this pick. Not good. Just... We got Jerrion Ealy, who I'm a massive fan of. He's so good for Ole Miss. A little bit of durability concerns, but he's so explosive. Might be the fastest running back or one of the fastest legit draftable running backs in college right now. So that's a good 1-2 punch there to pair with Kamara. We got Correll, which kind of, breaks even for the whiff because we got a hidden dev lineman. They're difficult. And I mean, this could make it where we want to shift Pete out to left tackle. And then we have Correll take over that left guard spot and maximize that dev trait. Peely from USC was our final pick, 64, and some depth on the D-line. But we got ourselves 2 hidden devs and a very, very exciting speedster to pair with Alvin Kamara. And our first bust. I got like bamboozled in my own draft class. As we enter the 2nd year of Desmond Ritter being the man under center, here's kind of how our team is shaping up. Not a lot of changes, some more depth changes. So we're throwing on Jerrion Ealy there at RB2. Eric Gilbert at tight end, excited to see the kind of levels that he could possibly bring to this offense. We got Zeke Correll switching and kicking Andrews Pete back to left tackle. I think that gives us the best, most well-rounded offensive line combination that we could potentially have. Anya Matt is coming back this year, bigger, better than ever with that superstar dev. We added in the free agency Cole Holcomb, 80 overall outside linebacker. Pairing that, hopefully Werner can take a next step. Will be awesome for him and or Deshaun Hand to get a dev trade. Maybe more likely with Werner. He's a little bit younger, a lot of snaps, but ultimately I think, again, playoff caliber team for sure. Excited to see what Desmond Ritter can do in year 3. So right about the midway point here of year number 3, and it's a stacked team, 88s across the board. Doesn't get a lot better than that, but we still are here in that weird purgatory of like, we're not playing good, not playing bad. It's just more bad than good, but not bad enough to be like, hit the panic button. Desmond Ritter, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks is, he's not costing us games. He's not necessarily winning us games either, which is kind of how we, broke down his plays. Like, that's going to be the quarterback he's going to be because this is the Alvin Kamara show. But at some point, we're going to have to make the decision. Is that enough? Is that going to be enough for us to remain competitive in a tough NFC South or to go on eventually to win a Super Bowl? So it's always tough. Let's pick some focused players to scout. Why not right now? I have been, unfortunately, we're not going to be picking at the top. Kind of focusing on D-tackle a little bit. D-tackle and linebacker. As you can see, we got lots of scouting here. We're starting to get some breakdowns of some of these players. And at this point, focus. Well, let's get the lone first-round caliber defensive tackle there. I think... Not a lot of great projections there. But I guess, supposing first-round linebacker, again, if Werner's not going to take that next step in his development... Could be an area we want to go. And then at quarterback, geez. Like, take your shot. At this point, let's just get the best name, maybe? I don't know. Cody Callahan, Cobb. Let's go Brandon Etienne from Miami. Why not? Let's throw a flyer out there on the quarterbacks. And maybe we have to get one. And maybe we get some good information for quarterbacks. Maybe I just start, every other time I get to get more information on a player, we focus on quarterbacks. But I feel like at this point, it's finding our quarterbacks either going to be Desmond Ritter, or if some big name comes available in free agency. So, it's still Desmond Ritter's team. Let's stop the chatter. Let's not create and manufacture a QB controversy. Looking at our contracts here. So, we got some veterans. We don't actually have a lot of money. Let's see if we can give Cam Jordan a 2-year deal. He's been our best edge rusher Production hasn't really dipped off. I think Demario Davis been a really solid linebacker for us. Let's, probably more so for him. 1-year deals. I can very see that 84 becoming a 77 in a blink of an eye. Onyemata looking for a 1-year deal. Again, I want to wait and see. We gave him the last contract because the superstar is really good. And I think we can do the same thing again. Wait till the offseason. If he kills it and crushes it this year at 30, give him another 1-year deal. Ruiz, a little bit more long-term. Want him to be locked down here for the entirety of this rebuild. Got that. Will Lutz at kicker. I'm not overly concerned with kicker. I mean, again, all these other things. Troutman's been okay, but Deshaun Hand's been solid. 2-year deal. Has he really? Again, I think for our D tackles, because it is a spot that we are prioritizing a little bit in the draft between Deshaun Hand and Onyemata. Let's see their production at the end of the year. Kind of have like a year-end evaluation, sit-down interview, like an office job, and we'll decide what's the best case and plan going forward for them. So we end year 3. I would argue that our team's not as good as that rating indicates. I would say that we have more holes and not enough proven stars to be rated 89 offense, 89 defense. But 8-9 is not good either way you cut it, even though we're still very much in developmental year. I think year 5 is probably what's shaping up to be the final big push for sure. Well, maybe next year, never know. Ritter could have been okay, could have gone up a dev, probably didn't go up a dev trade, but it's that quarterback spot. It's one of those things I've thought all along from the outside looking into these premier running backs that they carry these teams consistently. Maybe that's not the case. We have Alvin Kamara and he's carrying the load and we're still, 8-9. Even last year in the playoffs wasn't like we were jacked to the gills by any means in terms of record, in terms of smoking teams in the sim. And here in year 3, we crash and burn. Don't even make the playoffs. And that's not great because year 4 is usually the weird year. Looking around the NFL, I mean, you're seeing outrageous numbers for the typical running backs, right? 21 and 26 for Zeke. 2,028 for Nick Chubb. Probably absurd receiving numbers to go with that with McCaffrey. And are we getting that with Alvin Kamara? I don't think so. Is that because we're playing as the Saints this time? I mean, let's look at the stats here. Stats will tell all. So, under center, Desmond Ritter, 9th in passing yards, almost top 10 in touchdowns. 4,400 yards, 33 touchdowns, 11 picks. It's actually not that bad. Alvin Kamara, 1,500 yards, 22 touchdowns. So, yes, very much so. Alvin Kamara is putting up those gaudy numbers that the other running backs are, which is good. He also threw in 47 and 3. We have 8 and 5 for the rookie tight end Eric Gilbert. That's great. 9 and 7 for Callaway. Almost 1,007 here for Deontay Harris and 1,100 yards. 9 touchdowns for Michael Thomas. So it's just a very solid room. Defensively, 129 tackles. Demario Davis, 126, 11 TFLs, 4 sacks for Holcomb, our big free agency signing. 12 sacks Davenport, 10 from Cam Jordan. Go along with 18 TFLs. That's huge. And on the interception front, 3 from Marshawn Lattimore, 2 for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. All respectable numbers as we finish this year with Desmond Ritter as a top 10 offense in the NFL. MVP goes to Zeke. Kamara coming in at number 6. Whatever. Offensive player of the year went to Zeke Elliott. Defensive player of the year went to Chase Young. Offensive rookie of the year, Smith Ejigba from Ohio State. Eric Gilbert coming in at number 3. Defensive rookie of the year went to Miles Murphy. And then for the rest of the individual awards, a lot of Dallas. I don't know. Again, it's just, especially with Ritter, I don't know if that was a good enough season. Probably not to go up to a star dev. So here we are yet again with the number 6 offense in the NFL and an 89 overall defense that is 28th, 27th against the 27th against the pass, 18th to get 27th. You're telling me there's only we're pretty much essentially round up bottom 5 in secondary play here. 88, 88, 93, 83, 83. Bullshit. All right, so to close out the year, we need at least 1 dev trade increase for me not to be just absolutely triggered. Bengals got themselves a Super Bowl here. Joe Burrow, congratulations. And then we beat Dallas. That is just great. Makes me feel great. Let's look at our squad here. I don't think Ritter played good enough to get a dev trait. He did not. He's up to a 77. Zeke Correll, hidden dev guard, came out. Right now we're up to 76 star. That's pretty good. Eric Gilbert, hidden dev, was just a star dev. He's up to an 82. It's good. Defensively, there's a dev trait. Cole Holcomb, free agency signing, gone up to an X Factor. What X Factor we got? Was that the bowling ball one? Run stuffer? Okay. Sure. Hey. Is that the only one, though? I mean, the defense was pretty bad statistically, I guess. Yeah. All right. I don't know, man. I want us to be like, all right, we're gonna do this, this, and this offseason. We gotta wait and see what's in free agency. All right, I was like, oh wow, that's a lot of salary cap. All right, that's a crazy 57. I didn't think we are gonna have that much to spend. And Cam Jordan retired. That's why our D-line decimated, absolutely decimated. So at this point, I mean, regression there for Andrews. Hopefully there's, wow, did not expect that. I mean, he's old, but okay. So we gotta go all in. I have no idea right now. Speaking of who's in free agency, but I need a war chest. We're gonna have to fix this team fast. Because I do think there's going to be people from the outside looking in, like from a realism standpoint. They're gonna this is a team. They're gonna know that this is a team that underperformed last year. That's gearing up to prove everybody wrong. So when that's the case, you want to hop in. You want to buy in to what's going on there. So we freed up a little bit of money. Then we have this guy Pittman doesn't have a picture, and he's getting $1 million out of Wayne State, fake college. So let's get rid of that. Not really much else that we can do in terms of freeing up space. I think we're going to have a lot of money. $70 million worth of salary cap. We should be able to sign any and all players that we want to bring in. Yikes. It was a not good free agency period. I mean, looking at, this is just one of those ones I think we don't have a crazy amount of money, and we're not in a situation where we should be throwing an insane amount of money to guys that aren't going to be impactful for both years. There's a lot of one-year deals we could make. And then you're starting to get into that Super Bowl or bust territory where, we like to try to avoid that as much as we can in the realistic rebuild. So here are the moves I'm thinking. 2 just re-signs. Onyemata coming back, test the open market. Will Lutz back at kicker. Here's the interesting one. Jeremy Chin at free safety. I'm going to move him to linebacker. I think he kind of played a little bit of linebacker as a rookie for the Panthers. And I think he could be the upgrade over Pete Werner to play there with Holcomb. Last year we struck gold with Holcomb, went up to an X factor in our defense. I think the same can be said for Jeremy Chin if he decides to sign on the dotted line, come to New Orleans. We got a kicker. I couldn't even get Deshaun Hand back. We are going to have to crush this draft. And it's the new Madden scouting update, so it's pick and blind for most of the picks. All right, it's draft time. I got 2 D tackles I really like. They're combine and all that stuff. And I will say, if you have been on the up and up for Madden scouting, combine drills, combine performance, 3-cone, 20 bench, all that stuff kind of still remains the same. The fact that we need 2 new defensive tackles, I would love both McGee and Humphrey, but we also now with the surprise retirement of one Cam Jordan, we need a defensive end. And I've looked through some of these ones. David Bird's the best of the bunch, has again what you're looking for, 3-cone. I mean, he didn't attend the combine, so he's one of those guys who just straight up skipped the combine. But the 3-cone's good. The 20-yard shuttle's good. I think there was an outside linebacker that we could potentially convert. But, linebackers in particular are really difficult if you don't scout because you don't know the scheme fit. This guy here, 6'4", 240. Okay, he's probably a pass rusher. But I don't know if he's a pass rusher. You know what I'm saying? He could still be a run defender or something like that. Not an absolute scheme fit. His combine's not as good, even though he's the fastest in the 40-yard dash. So I think for me, because there's 2 D tackles I like, I think we go with defensive end first, and then we try to grab 1 or 2 of those defensive tackles. Try to get better at both spots. So David Bird's going to be my pick. Come on, Dev. Normal Dev trait, but kind of Davenport. Freak athlete. You're kind of gambling there on the upside, the projection. 89 acceleration, 85 speed, 86 strength at 6'5", 263. He's got to be a good player. Actually, lucky enough for us, both of our D tackles are still there. So I'm going to grab Bryce McGee here from Oregon, 6'3", 315. Outstanding combine. 315 with a 4.83. Second in the 3-cone. Second in the 20-yard shuttle. Key ratings look good. B's across the board. And he does have a hidden dev trait. 95 strength. An absolute powerhouse. The last of the picks of players that I really, really liked here. And it's another D tackle. Is Freeman. Matt Freeman here from Oregon State. Again, the guys that we do have a little bit of scouting on, at least we kind of projected that I was going to need some defensive tackles. And again, you know, at this point, you're just going for the best athlete of the bunch. 20-yard shuttle is not great, but the 3-cone, the bench press, the 40 is all good here for Freeman. 6'2", 303. We're looking for 2 D tackles in this draft. Yes. Thank God. I will say, when you do get a little bit of scouting, usually you can hit on those players. All right, moment 2 with draft recap time. Fairly confident these are going to be good players. Probably like mid-70s, low 70s. I will do David Bird. Well, with the bonus, all right, we're going to count the bonuses, make it sound better. 77, normal dev, scheme fit. Ultimately, you know, for the fact that guys like this, we drafted base. That's so weird to have 90 strength and then 58 power move. But honestly, just a little bit of scouting and going up the combine reports. If you know, you know. That's a solid pickup there. Would have been nice with the dev trade. But then we got Bryce McGee, who has a dev trade. He's up to an 80. That might be one of our best picks so far. Gambling, I think I had 2 people commit to scouting defensive tackles that year. Panned out, man, especially because we lost Onyemata, we lost to Sean Hand, and just like that, we get an immediate upgrade. 99 strength here for Bryce McGee, and then we get another hidden dev here in Freeman. Only a 70, but with all the boosts, stuff like that, 73 hidden dev, 95 strength, adding just elite power to the defensive line here for the Saints. Rest of the draft was okay. We got Perriman here, strong safety. He's up to a 69 with the scheme boost. Bennett, 70 hidden dev trait, another edge rusher. Happy with that one. 67 corner Carmichael, normal dev. So it makes up for my lackluster drafting from my personal draft classes. 3 hidden devs, 4 really good players. Let's go, baby. I'm starting to get a hang for the Madden scouting update. Year 4, big year for this team. This is probably going to be our last. If Ritter doesn't take this game to the next step, I think I don't know necessarily if we can aggressively trade for a quarterback, but if there is a quarterback in free agency, we might just have to do everything it takes to try to land his services. But in terms of the offense, not much has changed. Duncan will take over at left tackle from Andrews Pete. Everything else pretty much the same. Don't really think we have any regression yet. I don't think anyone has regressed outside. I don't even think Michael Thomas has regressed, and he's 31. So that's pretty good. Everything there has been nice. I guess in terms of what we can improve going forward with our squad, like what are we not happy about here in year 4? I guess, yeah, again, left tackle. That third wide receiver's, I mean, really that second wide receiver's never really taken that step. We've had Harris here for a while, but he's not gone up dev trait. Hasn't really had a breakout year. I think maybe that is just down to it's being the Kamara show on offense or, solid at best QB play. Defensively, killed it in the draft. 3 hidden dev players. McGee and Freeman are going to start at D tackle, 1 and 2. Bird, no dev trait, but a hell of a ball player. He's going to be our starting defensive end, taking over. Massive shoes to fill from Cam Jordan. The secondary, which was horrific last year. I don't know what to change. They're amazing. This is a very good secondary. I'd argue there's probably not a better secondary in the NFL. So they just need to play better. Holcomb got that X factor. Excited to see what he can do. The veteran Davis and Werner there as well. So ultimately, it's year 4. These seem to be just the weird years. Nice to make the playoffs. I just want to see Ritter continue to get better, mostly because it's going to set up for year 5. I can already feel it in my plums. Here's something kind of cool. David Bird, our first round pick on the normal dev late in the season. While we are looking okay, shaky results. Feels very like we win 2, lose 2, win 2, lose 2. 8-6, 9-5. Bird can have a hell of a game. Or just the defense has a hell of a game. We can get, was one of the premier players in the draft up to a star dev. Come on. Yes! David Bird, welcome to the Star Dev Club, baby. Let's go. And yes, we might have lost 2 games in a row. But we still made the playoffs. 10-7, not ugly, but not super pretty. NFC South title. Desmond Ritter not only has 1 playoff win with the Saints, he now has an NFC South title to go along with that and a big-time dev trait. Let's look at our dev traits. That's actually what I'm most interested in. We had 3 hidden dev players. I guess 4 now from that rookie class with Bird going up. Dev trait in season. It would be cool for them to add in D tackles with dev trait. Bennett is superstar. The last guy. Flyer. Okay. Need to find a way to get him on the field. Well, how big is he? Can I move him to D tackle? 6'3", 273. Ooh. Okay. Freeman does not have his dev trait. McGee is a star dev. That is, okay, that's interesting. Bird's too big to play linebacker. We could. What's his zone and stuff like that? Play rec. Okay. We're not even going to give his... But I mean, 74 superstar at that point is still, like, that'd be better if we were using him because we had the abilities and stuff like that. It's just, it's good to know that we hit on a dev trade like that. Huge. Okay. Very good random draft. I will say this, man. People that say, oh, C4, why do you use your own draft classes? They're too overpowered. I just crushed the Madden generated ones. While it is a lot more difficult with the new scouting update, if you know what to look for, you know. Third in the NFL in passing touchdown. That's a dev trait if I've ever seen one from Desmond Ritter. Yards 11. The yards. Isn't it like the average between yards and touchdowns or something like that? That is a huge year from Desmond Ritter. Exactly what we need to see. Win, lose, or draw here in year 4. We still have year 5 to play for, and Ritter showing this kind of development in year 4, which is for whatever reason usually the weird year. I will take that. Kamara, outstanding 1,500 yards, 21 touchdowns. Almost 30, well, we'll round that up. 1,300 yards, 9 tutties for Thomas, 1,007 for Harris, 8 and 8 for Callaway, 6 and 7 for Eric Gilbert, and some decent production from Kamara. Good tackles. Demario Davis leading the team yet again. We have 13.5 sacks from Davenport, 9.5 from the D tackle McGee, 4.5 for Turner, 4.5 for David Bird. Defensively, 6 interceptions from Marshall. Look at that secondary. Look at all of the turnovers. Very, very difficult defense to play against. Top 10 offense, 7th in the NFL. Mahomes got the MVP. Kamara coming in at number 7. And then in the NFC, let's just look at the awards. You might actually have a couple award winners here. Okay, that's... I mean, that guy probably just has more tackles, I suppose. McGee coming in number 2 for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Bird at number 7. And there's actually Humphrey, the other D tackle we wanted, 78. So he's pretty good. For the rest of the individual awards... Marshawn Lattimore, DB of the year. So there could be an X Factor upgrade potentially. So very, very nice year 4, setting us up for year 5 if we need it. But hopefully we can just play with house money. Find a way to go on a miraculous Super Bowl run here. And it all starts finding the outright best team in the NFC South as we take on the rival Carolina Panthers in the first round of the playoffs in the wild card. Again, I kind of just like simming it at this point. I hate this. Like, I have PTSD from the play of the moments. I don't even know if it matters as we go one and done. 28-23. Maybe, I mean, there's probably people out there that have done more homework. Is there a difference between Super Sim and just simming in the menus? Would love to get your guys' feedback if you have an opinionated take on that. Maybe it's just conspiracy theory as you look here. Ritter, I mean, just offered nothing. Battle of top running backs, you know, kind of broke even there. Must have been the defense, I suppose. Shaq Thompson had a day. 2.5 sacks, Brian Burns. But, I mean, even then, it was just a close matchup. Both of our stars, it almost felt copy and paste on either side of the ball, and I guess Carolina just had a little bit more juice. Damn. All right, year 5. Shocking at the end of the year, the Dallas Cowboys made the playoffs. At least they lost, you know? I'm all for them making the playoffs as long as they lose every year. And it's the Baltimore Ravens getting Super Bowl. J.K. Dobbins become the MVP. The thing that I'm more interested about, especially with some of the breakout players' performances. Look at our team ranks across the board. Very good. Is depth trade increases. What do we have? Offensively, I would love to see Desmond Ritter get a depth trade up to star. And he did. Very, very nice. Let's get a look at that. Top 3 in touchdowns. We'll get you a star dev every day of the week. Happy for him. 80 overall. I mean, it is what it is. We know what we got when we drafted him. Defensively, what do we got? So Freeman and McGee, the 2 hidden dev D tackles, both come out star dev. Bennett, late round. I didn't even like show me drafting because I just thought he was just, you know, it's just, you know, he's got to be a star for sure. He's a superstar. Lattimore's DB of the year did not go up a dev trait. We only had 1 dev trait gain. I guess, you know, if there was only ever going to be 1 player that goes up a dev, it might as well be your starting quarterback that's on normal. All right, so for our contracts, it's really only been like 1 guy, and it's just, I don't know, kind of waiting here on Michael Thomas a little bit. We'll give him 30. Again, we wait to the last period here, so you don't want him just to throw out the middle finger and bounce. So we'll give him a lot to not hit the open market here. 3 years, $61 million. Thank you very much. And we still have an insane war chest to go into free agency. So we went into this final free agency period being like, I'm going to be aggressive. I want to be aggressive. I was like, I really need a linebacker. Come on, baby. Something at linebacker. And it's Pete Warner. It's the best guy available. So at this point, I feel like, hey, maybe we just... He wants to come back, run it back. I don't want to be rude. And you go, oh, C4, why don't you go look at the other linebacker positions, man? Maybe there's an upgrade to be had there. You're wrong. There's literally nothing. Like, this is a awful free agency period. There's not much of any, like, middle line, like, you'd be better off with the guys we had. Like, I have to, hopefully we can hit on a linebacker like we did at D tackle. I haven't done a lot of scouting. I've kind of prioritized wide receiver, oddly enough. But maybe, you know, again, the tells, we can find ourselves a linebacker. Like, this is just a very weak class outside of the wide receivers. So I'm looking, I got Frymouth coming in at tight end 2 behind Gilbert. Warner, we'll see if he comes back, takes the spot back right outside. I mean, he's not bad. He's a scheme fit. And then I'm looking at Mike Williams at wide receiver. He's a scheme fit 87, another physical guy. There are other wide receivers available, but there's a really big on DeAndre Hopkins. And, you know, Juju, we've used him in previous rebuilds. So I feel like, why not? It's not really that much difference between these guys. So I feel like, why? Let's give Mike Williams a chance. He's been balling this year for the Chargers in real life. So let's see what he can do. Hopefully becomes a guy that can continue to take Desmond Ritter's game to the next level. Okay, the bad news is, I don't know why. Every other rebuild, I feel like we have crushed our free agency signings. Well, we got Mike Williams. We got the big fish, the guy that was the most important. And I guess we need to hope that we can pull a rabbit out of our ass like we did at D tackle last year in the draft and find ourselves 2 starting linebackers. So now it's time to start our private workouts. Kind of changed. Like, I did a lot of scouting at wide receiver, but we did land our big wide receiver. So now it's pretty much linebackers at this point. And I don't think it looks like there's like 1 or 2 guys that look fairly good. We have Matthew Ware at linebacker. Like, I think we just look at the best linebacker at the first spot here. We got Hodges, who's a first rounder, and why not keep it going here? We have a couple top 5s. That feels like a wasted pick because we aren't picking top 5. Let's go Will Colbert. Fits more of our scheme. 225. No way he's a pass rusher. Ware, Hodges, Colbert. Maybe one of you will be the next Saint. Okay, it's draft time. And at pick 22, what linebacker are we going to grab? And kind of shot in the dark. Need to just pay attention to the combine scores. Let's see what we got here. Middle linebacker. We have Antoine Hodges. Only 40% scouted. That is not ideal. Oh, wow. The 40 is not exactly what you want to look for. But the 3-cone, the 20-yard ain't bad. Do we have those 2 top 5s? One of them, no, of course. We had Colbert, though. We did spend some scouting on him. 80%. B pursuit, Z zone. Pretty good. The 40. Definitely looking like that middle linebacker is probably the shot. We have Matthew Ware. A zone coverage? 40 and all that stuff. It's not bad. I wonder if he'd still be there in the 2nd round. Man, that A, what? I don't think I've ever seen an A zone coverage. This guy got C tackle? It's like, I feel like, so we're getting a guy that's an athlete, a project here. But man, that combine did not do us wrong on the D tackles. Let's get this guy. I'm so intrigued by that A zone coverage. What? Hidden Dev! Matthew Ware, 88 acceleration, 86 speed, 81 strength. Across the board. A play rec. I mean, that's for the draft class, but still, A zone. I want to see what that zone. What is A zone? Like, he's gonna have like 80 zone coverage? I'll tell you right now, if that middle linebacker is still there in the 2nd round, I'm gonna trade up and get him. We are so desperate. So we have the Houston Texans here. Make a trade. Let's make a deal. Usually I'm not one. This kind of is a not realistic rebuild thing to do, but we are so desperate at linebacker. I think we need to do it. So I'm going to offer a second and a 3rd for the first pick of the 2nd round. That actually seems like kind of a fair trade. And usually trades do happen like this. Guys that slip out of the 1st round, teams are going to be very aggressive to try to go get them. And for us, I mean, 2nd and 3rd pick does us no good. Able to get that pick. So we're going to be able to grab that second linebacker that we want. Hopefully he also has a dev trait. Probably a star. But the combine was really good. Antoine Hodges, right? That's the guy. I don't want to make sure I botch it. I am worried about F pursuit. But the combine's so damn intriguing. Let's grab him. Hidden dev trait, baby. Let's go. 6'3", 230. Okay. So we got draft recap time. I was thinking about spoiling the dev traits, like going looking for myself. But yeah, what? I'm going to have to play either one of them anyways. Matthew Ware, insane. 76. He's actually not happy to be here. 75, hidden dev, run stopper, scheme fit. What is that zone? 72. 72 gets an A? I mean, that is pretty damn good. Man coverage 54 is also pretty good. That's a nice pick. And we got the dev trait 67. It's not a 2nd and 3rd round. Not overly happy, but that's like the inverse of Davenport. Paying 2 picks to get a player that might be a little bit more of a project. At least we didn't trade multiple firsts. Rest of the class was just meh, but I don't even know if I could play a 67 line, but he has the dev though. Hey, at least Ware looks like a beast. Let's go, baby. Year 5. Feeling good. I'm recording this, recorded most of this rebuild in the afternoon. Now it's almost 1 a.m. Just beat the final COD Zombies Easter egg, because the new COD's coming out. Got to beat the last one. And the salads have been consumed. I'm feeling like I'm in the pocket, though. I'm feeling like I'm exactly where I need to be in year 5 to bring the Saints team another Super Bowl title and to give us another Super Bowl victory on the old scoreboard here for our realistic rebuilds. And here is our squad. 91 offense, 84 defense, 87 overall. It's not our most strong team. That's great English, but it's not the strongest team we've built. Honestly, it's not my favorite rebuild so far, but I think there would be something to be said if we can find a way to win a Super Bowl here with Desmond Ritter, who's probably the least developed of the rookie quarterbacks we've used so far in realistic rebuilds. It would say something. It'd be like, all right, Kamara, carry the load. Michael Thomas there doing the damn thing. We brought in Mike Williams in free agency, so that is another big time. That's just like, straight up an upgrade over Callaway there. Gilbert was solid. O-line is good. Not an amazing offensive line, but, we got McCoy 92, Ramczyk 96. Those are big-time players that help, make Alvin Kamara's life a little bit easier and keep Desmond Ritter up. Defensively, this is our best drafting defense, I think, so far since the new scouting update has come out. Even though, that's a lazy superstar to take credit for because he's just not going to play. But we got McGee here, who's already up to an 85 at D tackle. Bird got his dev trait last year, 81. We got Ware at linebacker, who probably was the best linebacker available in the draft, I would say. Excited to see what he can do. And then it just goes with the secondary that's outstanding. Lattimore, Ballhawk, Williams 91, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati, he's been okay. I would have loved him in man, he got 5-6 picks. He's been an absolute beast for us. But, we have a competitive squad, and our two, Sauce Gardner and Desmond Ritter, getting a lot of the Cincinnati Bearcats here. Hopefully that pays dividends in year number 5. Let's go get that Super Bowl ring. Usually I just sim to straight up mid-season, see what our record is, and keep going. But I feel like it's worth the noting right now, at least at midway, we're undefeated. We are 8-0, so that I'm almost like, if we finish 8-9 or something like that, we know how crazy of a collapse it is. But 8-0 undefeated, it's uncommon to be, 10 going into week 10 and still have a chance to run the table and be the first ever 17-0 team. So to close the season, we slipped up a little bit at the end. But 14-3, that's up there. I think we have a couple 15-win seasons. That's a strong season. That's a very strong season in a competitive division. Panthers are right there with us. I actually thought there was a point in time. I think we're at 12-0, and the Panthers got a lot of momentum. They're at 10 wins. I was like, dude, we're gonna choke this somehow. But able 14-3, get that first round bye, which is very tough to get. So happy that we are the 1 seed. Big picture here. What are we looking at? So the Panthers made the playoffs. We know that they're there. Cowboys are always tough. Bucks are always tough. So 3 of our own teams made the playoffs. I feel like, I don't want to say they're scripting, but I know in FIFA there was for sure scripting. It felt like every time you'd play in the Champions League and you'd be an England team, I'd be Arsenal, and it always just felt like every draw I'd find a way. There's 40 teams, I'd play the team within England. I always feel like that kind of logic applies to Madden, where there's if there's divisional teams, you always find a way to the sim puts you and pairs you with a divisional team. Look at the big picture, man. Desmond Ritter, second on the passing, just behind Patrick Mahomes, 4,900 yards. I'm seeing some big years there, especially on the defensive line. Bolton, a couple picks. Well, let's look at our team. Really interested to see the year for Desmond Ritter. Second in yards, 4th in touchdowns. Might have been playing himself into a superstar dev. Pretty sure after that performance. Unfortunately, it's, we won't get the reap the rewards of that or benefits of that unless we make the Super Bowl. But 4,900 yards, 36 touchdowns, 9 picks. It's just, it's not a massive jump up from last year, but it's, it's better. It's improved. Alvin Kamara, outstanding, almost 1,700 rushing yards, 26 touchdowns. Jerry O'Neely, 307. Wide receivers, 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns. Michael Thomas, 12-7 for Mike Williams. That's a great addition to get him from free agency. 1,000 yards for the tight end, Eric Gilbert, 6 touchdowns. 7-8 for Harris, 6-7 for Kamara. Finally, massive year for Kamara. Almost 2,300 yards for scrimmage. 32 touchdowns. We might have an MVP on our hands. Looking at the defense, Ventrell Miller, 120 tackles. We got 12 sacks, Davenport, 17 TFLs. That's a huge year. Not much there from the linebackers. Matthew Ware, a little underwhelming. 4 picks, Lattimore, 3 for Sauce Gardner. Interceptions are good. Interceptions have been very good back-to-back seasons. And we have the #1 offense in the NFL. Yearly awards. MVP went to Alvin Kamara. That feels nice because It feels like if you're in Ritter coming in number 6, but it feels like Kamara in a normal rebuild. If I'm rebuilding any other team, he's winning at least one MVP. And the fact that it took us to year 5, I was a little disappointed that we weren't going to get that. But luckily, we get to reap the benefit of him. Oh, we didn't even get Coach of the Year. 14-3, man. Best record. Shafted. NFC Offensive Player of the Year went to Alvin Kamara. Defensive Player of the Year went to Aaron Donald. Let's look for the rest of the players. Do we have anyone showing up? Alvin Kamara is running back of the year. Ramczyk, lineman of the year, which I'm pretty sure is just copy and paste whatever the starting lineman is on the best team. Tends to get lineman of the year, but very happy with this. Luckily, we can kick our feet up here just a little bit. Wait to the divisional round, and we're playing. We're going to hop in. We're going to play the Dallas Cowboys. 90 overall Saints, 86 overall Cowboys. Let's get a quick look, a little snapshot, what their roster looks like, what they got from X Factors. Zeke Cooper, they got Stephon Gilmore, and Keanu Neal's developed into a superstar X Factor. They have Diggs, Dak, and Tank Lawrence as their superstar players. You know, this is it, man. It's time to get a big-time dub. Desmond Ritter in the flesh. Let's get on the sticks. Let's win. Let's go, Ritter. I'm playing all offense. Every offensive drive, I am playing. Don't feel like playing defense. Defense not fun in Madden 22. Defense is not fun in Madden 22 most of the time. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes we have a lot of fun in the Eagles franchise. But I feel like the balance for this is I'm going to play every offensive snap, and I only have myself to blame if I can't win shootout games. And we're going to start with a simply ridiculous throw to Michael Thomas. 3rd and 2, I want to keep Alvin. Come on. We've said it time and time again in this rebuild. This is Alvin Kamara's offense. We are going to work, and we're going to be able to win on the back of 41. He's the MVP this year. I don't think we're gonna take this one out of Alvin Kamara's hands. I don't want to say it's 4-down territory. Don't have to worry about it. First score of the game, Alvin Kamara and the Saints. Let's go. Hell of a touchdown, Selly. Come on, D. It's a stop. Beautiful. I almost feel like I just need one stop. First and goal. Let's do it. Scrambling quarterback, baby. Yep. Scrambler. Dual threat. Maybe not the fastest, maybe not the most athletic dual threat, but he's pretty fast. He's fast enough. Come on, defense. Yes! 3rd and 10. Definitely want to see if Gilbert can just win that foot race against Keanu Neal. Throw it in front of the safety. Hell yeah. Hell yeah! Eric Gilbert, let's go, baby. Big boy football. Okay, we got something called a Kenny McIntosh in the backfield for the C4 special on the 2-yard line. Go be great. Go be great, Kenny McIntosh. Defense can't get the stop. Dallas is not going away. 3rd and goal, I'm debating. Do I just, not get it and kill the game off? Or because it's Dallas... It's because it's Dallas, man. On to the next round, baby. End up winning 31-14. 170 yards for Desmond Ritter. Very accurate. Didn't have to do a whole lot. It was the Alvin Kamara show. 167 yards on the ground as the Saints are moving to the NFC Championship game. I guess I need to take back about what I said with the scripting. As we're taking on that's a good matchup. We have an 8 overall point advantage against the 11-6 Giants. Still got Saquon Barkley, so it's going to be a battle of 2 top running backs. What else do they got? James Bradbury's an X Factor. You got Dex Lawrence, Will Anderson. That's terrifying from Alabama. Jordan Davis. So they got the SEC All-Stars from this year. And something known as Kasim Glover as a cornerback. Okay, who's their QB? How do you get a little sniff here real quick? Right before we even play, would love to know, do they have Colin Kaepernick? That's pretty much where it's at. Do they have Colin Kaepernick or do they not have Colin Kaepernick? Giants. I feel like I saw Sam Darnold maybe in the ticker. No? Okay. Absolutely wrong. They have something known as Quentin Feeney. And they drafted Sam Howell, and they got Jordan. Okay. Good roster building. This guy's 97 throw power. I did just upgrade Matthew Ware, who's the big linebacker that we drafted. And he's a superstar. Let's go. Crushing the drafts here in this Saints rebuild. This guy's insane. Speed's good. Not the best, not the fastest linebacker I've seen. Tackle, pursuit, block shed. 75 zone coverage at this point. That is filthy. Ooh, Alvin out the backfield. Let's go. Open the drive. Ends up 7 for the Saints. Get the crowd going. Get that momentum meter going. Defense first drive. Gets the stop. 3rd and 2. We don't get this. I will take the points. Ooh, that's close. We might have got it, though, because it's Alvin Kamara. I'll take the points. The fumble. Jump on it. 3rd and 2. Come on, let's get the dagger. I don't want to say dagger, but I mean how our defense plays. Kick it. Another 3rd and 2. Make sure we get Michael Thomas running a slanter. Kamara at the backfield. Gilbert is supposed to be our first read. All great options. 3rd and 2. Probably the worst option. Bat it down. Another field goal, man. This Giants defense is bending, not breaking. 3rd and 16. Made them use all their timeouts. At this point, just, eat the clock. Kick a field goal. Win a game. I will say I'm a little bit worried. 16 points, 19 points. Patrick Mahomes in the ticker there. Let's just let it pop out. I think my webcam's not cutting it off. 6 touchdowns. Got to play a lot better than we did right now to have a chance of winning the Super Bowl here. So unless the Simmons found a way to invent a 9-point play, of course they're going to let them get a touchdown. Slim victory. Wasn't the prettiest game, but again, Alvin Kamara on the back of Alvin Kamara and no turnovers from Desmond Ritter. That is the winning formula for the Saints this year, and it's going to be what's going to happen in this next game. We're going to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. Him and his 6 touchdowns in the AFC Championship game. He's going to sit on the bench. He's going to watch us destroy the clock and win an ugly victory, and we're going to get our 2nd Super Bowl win for our realistic rebuilds here in Madden 22. So before the Super Bowl, well, we knew if we made the Super Bowl, we'd probably reap the reward of our individual performances this year. Get a couple dev traits, which we did. Desmond Ritter started as a 68 normal dev quarterback. He is now up to an 86 superstar dev quarterback. Put in the time, put in the work. We have the MVP Alvin Kamara. We're feeling dangerous. We're feeling great. Defensively, also got another dev trait for Davenport, who, obviously was already on the Saints when we started this, but he was very much a project player still, and we helped him reach his ceiling, 92 superstar, where, of course, we drafted in the 1st round, a superstar. So that's 2. Again, it's cheesing it a little bit because this guy, didn't really play, but we got 2 superstars. Drafted 2 superstars in this rebuild. We don't even know Hodges could be superstar, which would, let's look. I'm a little bit intrigued. Let's just see what he got. He was 67, I believe, 2nd round draft pick. We needed 2 linebackers, and he's just a star. That's fine. That's fine, man. Star's fine. We're not going to star shame anybody. We're not going to dev trade shame anybody. We're good. We know we got Mahomes and his 54 touchdowns and his 6 friggin' touchdown passes in the championship game. That's not our style of football. We do not win games with Desmond Ritter throwing 9, 10 touchdowns. We win the game by throwing 0 and having 150 yards rushing and playing great defense. They got Mahomes, Tyreek, Chris Jones, Honey Badger, and Travis Kelce as their X Factors. L'Jarius Sneed has gone up to superstar. They have Deuce Vaughn in the backfield. Henry to Otto with a game. So they have good linebackers, good running back. It's just a dominant offense. I'm sure this is going to be fantastic. Let's go. That's beautiful, America. We're going to do this one for America in Super Bowl Atlanta, Georgia. The Kansas City Chiefs. It's powerful. It's beautiful. Wearing the whites, Alvin Kamara, the reigning, defending MVP, Desmond Ritter. From consolation, what did you get him, the 2nd round, late 2nd round pick? Thought maybe go in the 1st round. He was disappointed. He's turned his career around. It is time to do something special. Let's see, man. These guys want to tackle? These guys want to play run D? I don't think so. All right, we got 3rd and 9. Let's hope to God on this one. Maybe Honey Badgers, too focused on Jackson Mahomes slaying on the sidelines. He's going to be distracted by the dance moves. We're going to be able to make a big play here. Let's go. Deontay Harris, 24 yards. First completion of the game into Chiefs territory. Okay, not the best screen passes, but Alvin Kamara finds a way to make it work. Another 10 yards. Let's go, man. Pretty much had the ball the whole first quarter. I mean, victim of the rebuild, 6-minute quarters. But it is what it is, man. Got to do, man. We're desperate. How many of these have we lost just for nonsense? If we can apply a little nonsense to swing the game in our favor, we're going to do it. Defense, stop Mahomes. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let me control the offense. How do I do this? Cancel sim. Jesus. That's your one. That's your one. Your one mulligan. Your one miss up. This got to happen this whole game. Maybe you have enough time for something like that. Go no huddle. Of course the one drive we don't play, Ritter throws a pick. God, you can't trust this sim bullshit. He doesn't throw picks! Over to drive. Second half. I think that's a stop. Oh, it is a turnover. Let's go, defense. Come on, Alvin. Punch it in. Punch it in, Alvy. A lot of traffic. It was easy. He's the MVP. You got to put way more on him. Got to at least dive for the ankles. They couldn't do it. Defense gets another stop. Oh, what's up, cat? Make an appearance in the video. Meow. What's up, Ricks? You can help me score. Okay, your ass is by you can't see. Come on. Be a team player. Love you. This is up proper. Alvin Kamara. Get himself. He got the MVP of the regular season. Let's give him that Super Bowl MVP. Worst case scenario, they keep making plays and we just keep burning the clock. Third and goal. Thomas has been good today. Gilbert as well. Maybe we keep it. Gilbert inside on the start. Well, Jerry Sneed, that's just a terrible size mismatch. If you are the Chiefs, 6 feet tall. Jerry Sneed, 6'5", 260. Gilbert. I like my chances thrown to him in the red zone. I think this is over. Kick our feet up, baby. They make it close because, of course, they make it close. But let's see the ceremony. Desmond Ritter comes in as a, soft fart of a draft pick. You draft him, you're like, oh, maybe we're going to stink enough tank with him, kind of have a Jalen Hurts Eagle situation so that we can get a Bryce Young, DJU, Anthony Richardson in 2023. And no! Here comes Desmond Ritter, 68 normal, battles his way to become a fringe 90-plus quarterback, gets a superstar dev, leads his team, knows what he's good at, understands his strengths and weaknesses, knows he doesn't have to throw for 400 yards, knows he has Alvin Kamara in the backfield, and we get our second ever Madden 22 Realistic Rebuild Super Bowl, which is, we gotta start stacking them, baby. We gotta start stacking them, baby. God, he looks weird. That is a weird, like when you're developing that face for Madden, who's like, people look like this. People don't look like that. And if you do look like that, I'm sorry. I don't know anybody that looks like that. I'm going to assume the MVP there went to Mr. Alvin Kamara. 198 yards, 2 touchdowns for Ritter. 106 yards. A couple plays there for Alvin Kamara. But I'm happy with the man. Super Bowl 28-21 over a scary-looking Chiefs, man. 6 touchdowns in the AFC Championship game. Our defense did good because that last score, it wasn't even that close. They got a garbage time touchdown. So with that being said, fellas, let me know in the comment section what team you want to see next. I know Seattle was a close runner up there. Saw some Chiefs, oddly enough, because obviously in real life, if you're going to try to rebuild all the teams, probably Kansas City, when they're a little bit of turmoil, could be the best time. But 100%, like this Saints video, I will be doing the most commented team, most upvoted team, whatever way you want to cut it, for our next rebuild. And if this video hits, what did I say, 1,200 likes? 1,250? 1,500? Let's say 1,200 likes again. I don't know. Could be changing it. 1,500 would be cool. I will have another realistic rebuild drop from you guys on Sunday. So thank you guys very much for watching. All the love and support of the channel has been amazing. We're so close to 150,000 subscribers. So if it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Likes Up the video, comment what team you want to see next in the realistic rebuild. And when you do comment a team, always throw a couple player suggestions in there that you want to see, because that could, inspire me a little bit, get the wheels turning on those specific teams. But that's all for me here today, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.